customers and the soon-to-be customers. And service is part of that equation. We're going to focus on that today, but I thought I'd take you up at a higher level to start. So the value equation, okay, and how people perceive value has three factors: service, quality, and price. Okay? Pretty simple. And it's service and quality over price. That's key. Because at the end of the day, is what you're paying, really are you getting in return in service and quality that you're finding value in that price? You'll find a bunch of businesses and you'll find a bunch of service leaders focus on price and price all day long. And this world is changing. It's important, but people are more empowered than ever. So I hear a lot of people talking about how the older generation has screwed it up for the younger generation. I'm kind of in the middle, so I don't take any blame either way. But I'll tell you who screwed up this world. Everybody in this room. Now there's a good way to start our presentation. And I'll tell you why. It's actually a positive thing. This generation doesn't settle for anything less. This generation has expectations. This generation responds quicker than ever. And this generation has technology to multiply that message faster, larger than anything in the history of modern technology. I'll give you an example. When I was in retail, and by the way, my career started shaking fries at McDonald's. Anybody work at McDonald's? The Habs fan worked at McDonald's. Awesome. You're off to a good start. But I learned service at McDonald's. That organization gave you training documents from day one. How to hold the spatula at 45 degrees. As silly as it sounds, it inspired you working there. It made the tight pants and the striped shirt worth it in my time. Service was driven into me at a very, very early stage, and that's carried through. But here's what's happened. When I was working at McDonald's and the customer wasn't happy, who did they tell? Remember, I'm 43. Who do you think they told when they went home? One person? Mom, dad, brother? Service was crappy at the St. Bruno McDonald's today. What do you do today when you're not happy? You go to Twitter. You go to Facebook. When you get into your professional careers, you'll go to LinkedIn. When you're not looking for a job, you'll go to LinkedIn for something else. And you'll share your concerns. And you have a community of people who trust everything you say more than any ad can ever buy. That word is key, and it's usually based 99% on how you felt and what you experienced, and not price. When's the last time you saw somebody put out a tweet that said, the Air Jordans were at Foot Locker for $219, and I went to Sport Check and got them for $218.99. Foot Locker sucks. No, what you will see is, I went to a restaurant, the waiter pretended I wasn't there, my food was cold, and then they were insulted when I didn't give them a tip. Don't eat at the cave. That you'll see. And 200-300 people will read it. So service has never been more critical in that value chain. So when you talk about service and quality over price, if you're in a price war, you've got to out-deliver on the service. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And I'm going to take you through three key elements today that are going to share with you how you can differentiate yourself in your careers, how you can get that first job you want, how you can get that first promotion you want, or at the end of the day, just be happy and proud of what you do. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But service is the difference in today's industry of winning and losing. No doubt about it, and it's only going to get worse. And you guys are causing that. God bless you. Because you're more empowered than anyone else before. Think about the people you work with. You got a bad boss? There's a thing called Glassdoor. And Rate My Boss, where you can go online after you leave a company and say to everybody how bad it is there, and people won't apply. That didn't happen. Not when I started. You don't like your job? Go find another one. When I need the money, shut up and do your job. Service is key now at every single level. So, difference between winning and losing is close. Who here has watched the Winter Olympics? Raise your hand. Okay, let me demonstrate the difference between winning and losing and how it all looks the same. You're going to guess what sport I'm doing, okay? You ready? Okay, bobsled, football, close. The second sport, a little more difficult. It's a pretty bad invitation if it took that long. In both instances, they're doing the exact same thing. They look almost identical. Can you tell me what the difference in one bobsled to the other for a driver is? Is there any bobsledders in the crowd that I just insulted? No, good. Technique, training. Now I'm out of breath. Winning by 1/1000th of a second is all the things you see going on behind the scenes. Winning on a judge's mark by 0.05 is all the stuff you see going on behind the scenes. I don't smoke and I work out. I don't know why I'm this far out of breath right now. So, let's talk a little bit deeper on those three things. Before we start, I'd like to show you this video on value. Catch my breath. Oops.
Yes. You see, yeah, we didn't budget for this.
That's okay, Mark. It's big enough.
Good.
Yeah.
This was marked 1999.
Yeah.
Well, I've only got $7 set aside for this.
So what are we going to do today?
Well, I'd like the highlights, but for now, I can only pay for a trim.
Okay, so today we're only going to do the trim?
No, the highlights, but I can only pay for the trim.
I mean, how much of the taco stand was one of the...
About $12.
Yeah, right. About $12.
Sir, we're not the taco stand.
You know, it was either beef, same thing as I had.
You had the fillet.
Yeah. Ow. Okay, let me make a phone call, see what I can do. Maybe I can get you $8.50. Can you do $8.50?
I'll pay for the highlights next time, but for now, I need you to just go ahead and throw them in.
So basically you want me to work for free?
No, I don't want you to work for free. It's just a test. That way I can see if my husband likes it, and then you can roll the cost over until the next time I need color if he likes it.
I went through in line item some of the stuff that would just remove. I'm not making any money on this either. You gotta help me out.
We got a discount bin.
I know, I've checked the discount bin, but I want this one. We can do this. This is not a challenge. This is an opportunity. We tried with 3 entrees.
Okay, you ordered 3 entrees.
We ordered, but it's ordered and eating. Yeah, we well, what's your name?
Todd.
Todd. You gotta work with me.
That one's $19.99.
Mike, come on, let's do this. Let's do this.
Well, I can cover your hard costs, but that's really as far as I'm willing to go.
I'll give you $8.50 today. I'll come back next Tuesday. We're gonna make it up on the next one. What do you say?
What?
Ah, excellent. Well, go ahead. We'll pay this time, but what we're gonna need you to do is show us how you made it, so we can do it on our own in-house from now on. You did. It's a great dinner.
Okay, so, theme being, people are looking for more and more value for what they pay for, and then the market's becoming congested and you have to stand out with service, okay? We're going to talk about that today. You also have to do that for retention and engagement of employees. You got to do it with your product, so your product stands out. And then on the marketing side, how do you tell a story that people want to hear and it resonates at the right time versus the old world of advertising that whoever had the biggest checkbook for their ad campaigns won market share? It's all changed. Have I told you that's your fault yet? I have told you it's a good thing, though.
Hi.
Sorry.
Is there a problem, sir?
Yes.
Oh, I got it. Sorry, it's just me. Okay, so we're going to focus on 3 key things. We're going to focus on the internal, what you do within your organization to lead a team, to set them up for success. And if you want to hashtag duh at the end of this, go ahead. But it's not happening in most organizations today. Okay? So we're going to go through this. It's going to set you up, if you're going to lead in the future, it's going to set you up to pick the right organization to work for. It's going to set you up to demand things you need to be successful in the future. So the internal. We're also going to talk about operational. We're going to talk about the external. So internal. So I'll share with you in 3 stories each of these slides. So Chris was referring to our days at MLSE together. I was working at a company called TELUS Mobility. I was a area manager overseeing their stores in Southwest Ontario and Manitoba, and I get a call. And it's a recruiter. The recruiter says, "Hello, Mr. Petitpas, we've heard a lot about you." I said, "That's great." They said, "There's an organization that wants to talk to you." I said, "I work for the best company in Canada." I said, "They do all these things. I love them. I'm not going anywhere. But it's a pro sports team." "Okay, tell me more." So, first question, what do you think it was? Is it the Montreal Canadiens? It wasn't. I still listen. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Toronto Raptors. Wow, okay, cool. This was before the Marlies were in Toronto and TFC was here. And they want you to come in and manage their consumer products division. So all of their merchandise, whether that's in arena, whether that's online, whether it's their catalog program, they want you to manage that entire program. So I took the opportunity. Well, silly me, taking a director level job as my first step up from area manager at this big company that's well known. I inherit my first unionized workforce, or about to be unionized workforce. So the entire building at this stage was part of the Teamsters. Okay? And we're not going to have a union debate here, because it's good in some instances, not in others. That's for another day. But I was inheriting a team that had resisted that union for a pretty long time, didn't make the demand, and they were as I was coming in. So you can imagine my challenge. Where's employee morale at? Why do they feel they need someone else to protect them? Are these people being listened to? What are the expectations? How are they recognized? Why do they want to come to work? Why do they need a union when they've never needed before? And it was in a little bit of disarray. So I took what I learned from TELUS, and that's the beauty of the business world, right? Plagiarism bad? Well, they don't call it plagiarism in the corporate world. They call it best practicing. And it's encouraged. It's encouraged. Go out and see who does it well and do it a little bit better. Don't photocopy their documents and splash your logo on it. That's kind of plagiarism. But take that piece and make it somewhere else and make it better. And I learned a ton at TELUS, and this is what I brought into MLSE, and I'll share the end of the story when we're done with this slide. But the first thing I saw was there was no connection meeting between the management and the staff. They're just a bunch of part-timers. They come in, they sell some t-shirts, they go home. What do we care? We're doing $1 million deals with Reebok, we're selling board ads, we're doing $40 per head on food and beverage on 20,000 people. It's t-shirts, they're kids. Whoa. First thing we did was I connected with all the management team, had connection meetings, found out what they were about, connected with each and every part-time employee because it needed my involvement at that point. And I brought in a new management team, and the existing management team wouldn't adapt to those leadership styles. And we had connection meetings. The connection meeting is very simply, why are you here? What do you do? Tell me about your life. Is this just paying the bills? That's cool. We need great people who need to pay the bills. Or do you want to grow your career? Connection meetings. And I've taken that in each and every organization where I've taken a new stop. Okay? Then observational analysis was next. When you get into the service industry, have a look around you of what's going on. Before you do anything, see where the opportunities are and where the gaps are. And this is when you start at an entry level or you're working your way up to president. Before you react to anything, have a look around, see what's good, what's not. So I did that with the team. Then we identified the gaps. So here's what was going on at MLSE, and here's why these part-timers wanted a union. No one cared about what they did. It wasn't about salary. No one cared what they did. They were just the people in the store. A necessary evil so people could buy their jerseys and go home. Terrible. So you identify what they did and where it added value, and you provide training to show them how to sell. To show them how to give a great customer experience. To set targets and rewards for hitting those targets, and oh my God, I count. And you bring the CEO down to the store and you let him see everybody. You let them see you hitting those targets. Service is all about being passionate about what you do. And if no one in your organization cares about what you do, how do you expect an employee to? So that was the next thing that we did. We set up training, we set expectations and behaviors, and then we measured them. We rolled out a mystery shopping program. Anybody work in retail as a part-time job? Anybody in the mystery shop? Cool, there's 2, 3, 4. How do you feel about those mystery shops? still feeling scared about them, they're supposed to be about catching people doing things right, not doing them wrong. If you catch someone doing something right, and you recognize the behavior, what happens? People want to do it again. And it's not always about a carrot. It's about saying, I saw you do that. Let me tell you why that's important to our organization. It's catching people doing things right. And yes, there's a training component. Where they're not, there's a gap and you have to fill it. Now, whether you're realizing this or not as we're going through this, this is service leadership right now. This is servicing your people internally. And it all starts there. And but I think when you guys get into the workforce, it's only going to get better because you're going to demand it. And previous generations didn't. Dad was working 15 hours, mom was at home with the kids. Now you got double income, no kids, you got young professionals. Hey, this is about my career, this is about me growing. This isn't about me getting a paycheck, I have expectations. And these things have to be set, okay? So look for these things as you join the workforce. Then, continuous, relentless dedication to career development. So, you'll hear a lot of people talk about coaching. And you hear a lot of people talk about personal development. Look for that in the organizations that you're in. Ask for it. Use that as a qualifying factor if you're considering between two jobs. Go to their website. See if they really deliver service to their people. Weekly one-on-ones with every single manager that I've ever had, we talk about their business. We talk about their challenges. I'm their support person, I'm not their boss. Make no mistake, I'm accountable to the results. And I'm the first head to roll. But there's a way of transferring that through the organization where people get on your bus versus saying, what a jerk. How do you engage with them and find out where their deficiencies are and talk to them weekly to help them be successful? PDSs are about their careers. Hey, you're a great assistant manager. What do you want to do? I want to manage. Well, why? Well, because I got these skills and I really want to share them. Like, I'd like to see my peers do really well. That's pretty good. And I'd like a better job. I'd like to grow a family and have a house. Okay. Let's find all the things you need to get to that level now and put them in a development plan so when the job comes up, you're already qualified. And it's documented and you do it quarterly. Service leadership within your walls. Servicing your people before you go outside. Employee engagement surveys. So it's one thing for me to get up here and talk about all these things and they're great. But where do I hold myself accountable and measure those things? Organizations have to have internal surveys just like they survey the customers. So are you giving your employees that anonymous opportunity and portal to say, you suck at what you're doing, or you're great and keep it up? Or here's the gap, I feel much better about working here in my career if you did the following things. Those are critical. Critical, critical. Because if you don't take care of the people in-house first, they're not going to care about external delivery. We can't even get to the third slide of where we're going. Lastly, I put in 360s. Boy, I'd like to come back here in 40 years and ask you this question. I'll be dead by then, but 30 years. Right? I'd like to come back in 30 years and say, how many of you ever had your boss hand you a 360? Anybody heard of a 360 before?
Snowboarding, right?
Snowboarding.
Yeah.
Freestyle skiing, no. It's turning it around. It's you as a manager being evaluated by your staff. I give those to my team twice a year. And they have every opportunity, anonymously, because they don't sign off on it, they do it on a computer, and they put it in a brown envelope with somebody else. I take all that data, and then I spit back to each and every one of them what the group has said. Hey, you know, I talk all this stuff on coaching, but the minute I get busy with my strategic planning, the coaching drops. I gotta work on that, guys, and here's my action plan. It goes both ways. That's what service leadership is about. And it sounds great, and I'm here to tell you reality, it doesn't exist everywhere. And even guys like me are up here speaking to you about it. It's an area of improvement. We can get better at it every day. But it's got to be a holistic effort within an organization for it to work outside the organization for your customer base. When you're thinking about service, that's where it starts. Lastly, employment brand. So that's just a piece on that. How are you telling that story to attract more people to your community who think and feel the same way? How many of you had a part-time job where you've seen this exist? I thought so. One? Awesome. mind me asking? Walmart. Yeah, I can see that. Nobody else in this entire room, right? Critical that you look for in your career, and critical as you grow to pass that development onto your team so they can continue to deliver the service in the marketplace that you expect. So that's internal. What am I doing for time, Chris? Am I okay?
You're good. You've got 20 minutes.
I'll talk slower then.
No, we've got questions too.
So one time, operational. So you do all these great things in-house. Okay, and you have this great fired up team that's ready to go. They're excited about you and what they stand for, and they're proud to come to work. And you build widgets. Your widgets suck. What's going to happen? Customers are going to go. Word's going to get out. Your team's probably going to leave because they believed in you and how you were developing, but now they don't believe in your product, and they can't stand to stand up for that brand in front of their friends, family, and customers. So there's a second piece, which is the operational piece from the leadership perspective. You've got to constantly evaluate your offering and see if it's still the best and a step further. So I'll shift from MLSE and I'll share a story of the company I'm at now. I'm at Fusion Homes. I know you've all heard of it. Nobody's heard of it. Homebuilder in Guelph. We went from 100 homes 2 years ago to building 300 homes in 2015. So the sales are done. We're building those in a 5-phase condo project. So we're in high-rise now. This growing company out of Guelph. So I'll give you a little bit of background of why. One of the things is we are relentless when it comes to standing out for service. So our owner, Lee Piccoli, started the company 14 years ago. He's 3 years younger than me, this guy. He's 3 years younger than this young 43-year-old man. Okay? 43. He's 40. He started the company 12 years ago. He is now one of the biggest home builders in Ontario. He did it from the first moment he said nobody's in the marketplace positioning their brand and their offering on quality and service. Everybody's out there on price, and building homes with, not to get too deep into the manufacturing side, but prefab trusses for the roof versus the good old way with the carpenter and wood. I'm going to build quality homes, and I'm going to give the best customer service. So when you spend $500,000 on that home, and a nail pops in your wall, you're going to be able to find me. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to fix it. Okay? And so we identified that early. No one was giving service in that industry. So he developed a thing called the fusion difference. Now I can't tell you what the fusion difference is because I'd have to kill you. But the fusion difference, we're constantly reevaluating an organization, and it's how we build homes different from anyone else. Okay, in Ontario, there's a thing called Terrian. They warranty your new home, the new home buyers in Ontario, so they're an independent body. But if you have a problem with the home builder, you can go to them. Your house is warranted for 7 years. Fusion difference is going above and beyond that. It's doing things differently that they don't have to. That word gets spread when we get to the third component that I'm going to share. But the core was build great staff, great product and service delivery. Now get that word out. This is where this organization is growing. And recruited me. And I left an organization that was probably 3 times as big, with a bigger salary. I was recruited away, and I took it because I want to work for this guy. And I want to work with those people. That's how much the first slide means to me. Okay? So fusion difference. How's your product different than everyone else? How are you consistently monitoring it? And how do you deliver it better than anyone else? Reliability. So a big part of service is reliability. Can I count on it over and over again? Is it a repeatable thing? Think of the cake. Does anybody eat cake? Everybody love the cake? Cake fans? Yes. Cake? Have you ever had a bad steak at the cake? No. Never! How the hell did they do that? I've never worked at the cake, and the only thing I can think of is they've got a repeatable process to train their staff on service delivery. Because they always nail it.
Yeah.
And I'll always eat there because of it, because I'm picky with my
So go get
steak.
a sheet.
Chicago, medium rare inside, you get it wrong, I'm upset, I'm going to Twitter, I'm telling free people. Actually, I'm not that guy.
No, there was on.
So reliability. They never miss a closing date. So you'll buy a house in Ontario, and your closing date will get shifted. sorry, you signed a contract that said we could move it, we're missing it, but my kids are in school in
Is it right there?
September. Yeah, but it's not gonna be ready till December. House gets moved. He has not missed a closing date in 12 years. The company has never missed a closing date. That's service delivery. Lastly, best in industry after service model. So I talked about that nail pop as an example. Part of our mission in that organization, again, is customer service, and there's an award called the Terrian Award. And again, it's that same body that represents the home buyer. They send out a survey. To anybody who buys a new home in Ontario, they send the survey back, it gets tabulated, and Builder of the Year gets awarded for customer service. Now, you're going to see a bunch of ads about Builder of the Year, and they're little regional industries where a panel gets together and says, they're the best. This one is about the home buyer saying who the best is from customer service delivery. No organization's won it more than twice, and he's won it, and when I say he, all of us, but he's quite an inspiring leader, so when I say he, I'm pretty proud of the guy. 5 out of the last 7 years. That doesn't happen unless your organization is set up with slide number 1 that I shared, 2 that I'm in the middle of, and 3 that I'm about to share. So it's that constant passion for a different product that's better than everybody else, service delivery, and after the fact customer service, set up by a great team of people who do that every day. Okay? I'm going to take you to the 3rd slide because it's a little bit of a longer one. So, who is on Twitter? Please put up your hands. Okay, say about 2/3 of the room. Who's on Facebook? Can I be your friend? Kidding. No, seriously. Who's on LinkedIn? Well, good for you guys. Already on LinkedIn. That's awesome. Awesome. And you know what? LinkedIn is great for connecting with people and finding out about career opportunities, but there's fantastic content on LinkedIn. There's stuff like this, not that I'm saying it's fantastic, but it kind of is, right? It's all on LinkedIn. Use it. Use it for your development. It's a great place to be. Anyways, the reason I ask that is this acceleration about the definition of who you are as a person and who your brand is as an organization, and getting it to more people faster than ever. So how you manage that now to 1, build the team, 2, build the product, and 3, tell the story on the service side is critical. So, I wrote up here, creating a referral. And the story being from push to pull. Has anyone heard that term, push to pull marketing? No? Okay. So, push marketing is the way the world used to work. I buy the full page of the Toronto Star and you read it. And you're going to like Cheerios because I put Cheerios on the front page. You're going to eat Cheerios every day because I'm going to buy that ad every day. And whoever had the biggest advertising budget got bigger and bigger and bigger. And now it's about pull. If you want to go out to a pub or a club in a different city that you've never been before, or a restaurant, what do? I know, sorry? Yeah, you search. You go to Google. Well, that's actually pull marketing in effect. That is people being where you need them to be when you're looking. And there's a bunch of things that happen in the back end. But none of that matters if you've pulled them in and then your service delivery story isn't there. And they go to your corporate profile, and on Twitter, there's 100 people saying how much of a terrible home builder you are. Or how the service was so terrible at the local TELUS store. Or TELUS doesn't give bad service for the video being great service. An example, right?
On your Bell phone, you mean?
What's that?
On your Bell phone?
Actually, it's a Rogers phone. Company issue. I like those. But it doesn't matter because it's all about pull and what's going to be shared. Okay? So that's push versus pull. You have to do a good job as an organization when you've figured out who you are, what you want to be, how you're going to be different, of telling that story now to more people. When you see an ad in the paper, does it resonate anymore? Anybody? You read ads in the paper? Can you remember the last one you saw? But I bet you can remember the cool Coke video that was online on YouTube. I bet you can remember the link you got from a buddy on Twitter who sent you the funny ad on whatever. It's about telling that story and being there when they need them and telling them in a compelling, fashion that they can understand what your value equation is. The selling experience. So, this is where the rubber hits the road and probably where a lot of you are going to spend your time in your first jobs. The delivery of all those things that are being said today, the promise that is being made. How do you go out there and deliver that experience as a sales team, a hospitality team, a server, whatever that looks like? How do you deliver that? That is the key component. It's where the rubber hits the road. It really is. It's where all this happens. And again, it's critical because people will go back and tell that trusted network of friends what you're about. I had a gentleman, I'll leave it as an unnamed company that I worked for, as a VP of Sales and Marketing. He started this company 50 years ago. And he built this company on referrals. Everything I'm talking about. Built a good staff, great operational product. And people loved this product so much, they just kept telling people, and that's how it did. So I'm the executive that they hire, who's one of the only non-family members that they've recruited on the executive team. And he says, well, how are you going to build my referrals? I said, well, I'm going to do it through social media. He goes, no, you're not. No, I am. I'm going to build through social media because that's today's referral. But like, that's how it happens. No one calls anybody and says, these guys do a great job of X. No, no, no. You're not going to go there because people will talk about you. Well, if I'm not there, then are they still going to talk about us? Like, they're still going to tweet to their friends about it. Right? So if you look at the brands on social media that do a great job with service, what do they do when there's a complaint? Same thing they do in person if they're great. Apologize for the area and see error and see how they can fix it, right? All that world's out there to you. And there's so many components now about service leadership that you've got to be cognizant of. Because if I didn't say it before, you caused it. And it's a good thing, but the customer is more empowered than ever. Service is going to make a huge comeback in this industry. How many of you think people won't shop in malls anymore and they're going to shop all online? Raise your hand, please. I want to get a number. How many of you think it's going to be all online and people are going to stay away from malls? Okay? How many think I'm going to the mall? Okay, so I have to ask a question for all you people who go to the mall. And I worked in retail for 10 years, so I don't have a problem with that. Why would you want to go to the mall? Anybody? Why would you want to go to the mall? Yeah, sorry, what's your name?
Mervin.
Sorry, up.
Oh.
Can you raise your hand?
Yeah, I raised my hand.
Oh, sorry, right there, sorry.
Mervin wants to talk.
I did raise my hand.
Mervin's got this issue. He wants to talk. He wants to talk.
Because I want to try on the clothes sometimes.
Yeah, you want to experience the product.
Yeah, if I order it there from wherever it comes in and I try it on, I don't like it, or it doesn't fit well, then I have to go to the hassle of sending it back, and that's a lot.
How do you feel about that?
Sometimes I just keep it because I just.
And how do you feel about that company?
I'm not gonna order from there anymore.
Yes.
I was pretty much going to say the same thing, but just to add on to it, it's nice to have people like fuss over you. Like, if you're trying on shoes and it doesn't fit, like, oh, can you go get me this one because this one doesn't fit? And then people fuss over you and like service.
Feel valued, right? Who else would pick them all over online? That's willing to share. The Habs hoodie in the back. That's a Habs hoodie, right?
No, it's a Patriots thing.
I tried. You're not a Bruins fan, are you?
No, I don't like ours.
Okay, good. That's okay.
Like she was saying, like just to go, like have someone there to like help you or whatever, and like if you're ordering things online and it's not the exact size or like what you think it's gonna be, it's just a hassle to send it back and stuff like that, as opposed to just see it, get it as you want, and then take it home as it is.
So basically, just off what everyone said, it's just you try the product firsthand and experience it yourself.
So it's experienced the product in its instance, but I also heard the value of being taken care of and wanting to feel special. So as we go into this online world, my crystal ball prediction from some guy you've never met before today, it probably won't matter because I'm going to be dead in 10 years, 10 or 40, I can't remember what we said. I'm losing my memory as I age. Is that it's going to shift back to what you guys are all passionate about doing at this stage. It's going to go back to being about people interacting with people. And the technology is just going to be about telling the story faster. E-commerce transactions will always exist because some people don't like to be around people. That's okay. I'd rather stay in my room and I'd rather deal with the shirt that doesn't fit. I'd rather send it back and deal with the headache with someone on the phone than have to be face to face. That's okay. But I will tell you, more and more people, the differentiator is going to be everything we're talking about today. So you're in the right course, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Chris begged me to tell you that. But it's true, because if you're the type of person who wants to make an impact, this is the industry to be in. Now, do you believe in everything you saw today? Because only the ones who do will be successful. Okay? Lastly, I spoke to social media and delivery. How do you measure the external? So I spoke to that Terrian Award, that's this industry, but we also do internal surveys with our customers. And so you're like, yeah, big deal, the company does surveys, I get it. Everybody's bonuses are attached to the results of that survey. Every single person in that organization has a commitment to the results in that survey. Every single person in the organization works there because they're developed, understands their metrics, are recognized for it, developed, and coached. Every single person in that organization is passionate about making us different than everyone else in the organization. Every single person in that organization is accountable to the customer service result and is passionate about it. That's how it all comes together. Our owner just had a town hall, and we're going through a difficult time as an organization from a growth perspective. Good problem to have. But when you triple in size in 1 year, that's hard on your people. Okay, because from a business perspective, you can't bring on all the overhead until you get the sales. But you can't get all the sales without the overhead. So we're in that middle ground where it's tough to do your job in our organization right now. It's not as rosy as it was 2 years ago. What we didn't want to lose as we grew was why we do service. So he took everybody into a town hall last week. The first thing he did was acknowledge how tough it is. Hang with us, guys. You know we're about slide number 1 and slide number 2. For the example of today, if you would have said that there, no one would have known what he was talking about, but you get what I'm saying. We're about internal and the product. We're also about the delivery. All 120 of us, if we get through this, we are shutting the company down for 5 days and we are going to Vegas. Everybody's going to Vegas. That's recognition and passion and acknowledgement of what everybody's been working on for 12 years of history of the company. Now, if you want to get into the service industry and you want to do your job, that's cool. There's no problems with that, right? Jack Welch has a theory called meritocracy. Okay, 10% elite in an organization, 70%, sorry, it's actually probably 10-80. 10% elite, 80 do their job, do it great, take care of them, make sure they're happy, make sure they're growing, they like what they do, you need them, and 10% at the bottom that they got to go. They don't live this brand, they don't deliver what we believe in, and they got to go. Now, probably a little harsh, but you only get to that level of engagement with an organization if you make everybody count. And you make everybody align to what you're doing. So if you want to be in the 80%, you're there. You're in the industry. If you work hard, you'll get there. If you want to be in the 10, you got to do slide 1, 2, and 3. Last thing I want to leave you with, besides the greatest hockey team ever is the Montreal Canadiens. The battle today is for the hearts and minds and not the wallet. The wallet is a byproduct. You cannot get to the wallet if you don't get the heart and the mind first, because people have options and they're empowered more than ever. When you're delivering service, it's critical that customers feel taken care of, and they're proud to share with people that that's a brand or a company that they engage with. It is not about getting a sale. That is a byproduct. You need revenue to survive as an organization, but if that's where you're coming from, you're going to fail. There is a saying from a guy who's been in McDonald's, sales and TELUS, and I actually went from consumer products at MLSE to opening BMO Field as a general manager. I was the senior director of the Air Canada Center. I was the general manager of Ricoh Coliseum, which is where Chris and I worked together. And now back into sales and marketing, and now into pure sales. I'm accountable for the growth of this business over the next 5 to 10 years. It used to be buyer beware. You guys heard that expression before? Hey, your job to do your research and figure out what you want, but it's buyer beware. So I'm selling you what I sell you today, and that's your problem. You'd buy a car, you'd walk into a dealership, you were leaving with a car. You didn't get to build your car online and pick the colors of the doors and do all that cool stuff you do now. It's become seller beware. Because I researched you online, buddy boy, and I know all about you before I come and see you. You better live up to your promise. And service is critical. That's it. Thank you very much.